Yeah, so I'm back with another one. I just want to say all praises to the triune God, all praises to the God of Israel, the God, the only God, the God above gods. I want to say all praises to the Father for his mercies and his grace in my life, and all praises to the Son for his wonderful redeeming work in my life. And our praises to the Holy Spirit who remind us of what the Son has done and keep us in line with the words of the Messiah. So today I was looking to some videos and I came across a video by Uthman Ibn Farooq, and he put on a show for you could see that he was putting on a show for the non-Muslim in the audience. And not that there are not things that he says that I kind of agree with. I can't say that there is not things that he say. I think that as in society, as a people, we can take care of each other in a lot of ways. We can take care of each other, but you could tell that he was putting on a show trying to convert, or as they say, revert, which is stupidity, to revert someone or convert someone to Islam. He put on a show. So just to share the video, and so you guys can see what he was actually talking about. So the discussion, I'm not going to go into the lengthy discussion, just some points that he make early in his conversation are, I realized that this guy is a guy who loved to put on a show. So we're gonna just share this video, a little part of this video, and you will see how this video started and stuff. So he says LGBT and Islam Q&A session with uh, Sheikh Uthman. Uh, it's funny how he have an LGBT uh, session eh, because I don't know what his intentions are, but in Islam, homosexuals should be killed. So I don't know, because really and truly, when these Muslims are in the West, they are not teaching Islam. And the only time a person will actually see what Islam is about is when they live in certain Muslim countries, or if Islam was powerful enough to take over a Western country or a Western region, then they would actually see what Islam is all about. According to Islam, homosexual is to be thrown from a high place. They should be killed. So I don't see. You could tell that in his audience there were people who were not Muslim, because at one point he says, um, I'm paraphrasing him. By the end of this evening, at the evening, she's gonna be a Muslim, and it's sad to see. From my last video, you see where a woman actually called Muhammad, indirectly calling Muhammad a weirdo, cultist, a satanic prophet, but she don't even notice, and that's a convert, a Muslim convert that did that, indirectly do it, but she did not even notice that that's what she's saying, because she fall into something and don't know how to defend it. Now what we see, that I notice that these people target women more than they target men, and they believe women are weaker because of all the people in the audience that he's talking to. I can't see the audience, but I'm sure there's an audience. You could tell there's an audience. You hear people talking and responding to him. He picked out a woman and he said she's gonna become a Muslim at the end of the day. By the end of the day, I'm paraphrasing what he said. You will hear what he said. But I just want to show you something that he says, and how he take a jab at the Red Cross. And when you look at the Red Cross, there's a lot of good that the Red Cross do. And I'm not gonna say that they don't collect money and they have CEOs who make this money and all the stuff. But when you look at worldwide what the Red Cross do, the Red Cross have done a lot of good work. And when when an organization have done a lot of good work, you cannot really knock that organization, because if you look in the United States, what Muslim organization is comparable to the Red Cross? None. None. In the United States right now, what Muslim organization is comparable to the Red Cross? None. So when you're taking a jab at the Red Cross, to me that is a stupid job, because you have no Muslim organization in the United States now that is comparable to the Red Cross, that is for all the people and not only for Muslim. And you will hear him say something, because he's actually talking about the zakat. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, he's talking about 2.5%, and we know that that's the zakat. And so he's talking about the zakat, and what we know, when Muslim collect the zakat, who does it take care of? Does it take care of the regular people in the community? No, it take care of Muslims. And we'll show you evidence, because he's gonna actually draw reference to something, and then we realize that there's other references that you could draw that shows that under Muslim rule in India, they were taking jizya from the poor non-Muslim, and they were taking jizya from these people, and actually leave those people into poverty, because they were when in a society, when you have people paying because zakat is not obligatory. You don't have to pay zakat. Zakat is something you pay from your if you have the mind to pay zakat, you can pay zakat. But under Islamic rule, jizya is obligatory. So they are taking taxes, call it protection taxes, which is not true. It's exploitation. So they're exploiting the non-Muslims, and he's going to pretend as if Islam is the answer to everything in America today. But I asked myself the question, there's a lot of Muslim in America. We all know that. There's a lot of Muslim in America. What organization does a Muslim have that is equal to the Red Cross that he's going to attack? And he's going to go into alcohol. And we all know, if you do your research as to why alcohol was forbidden, there is reason in Islam why alcohol was forbidden. And the reason alcohol was forbidden in some cases can be seen as Muhammad being just about himself. So at the end of the day, let's get into this video and see what this guy is going to say.
Feel free, if you're here, raise your hand, ask your question. If you're Muslim, please hold your questions.
So if you're Muslim, please hold your question. You just want to talk to non-Muslim, because what? He's on the dawah pathway. He's not, all this is to brainwash people, because we know that LGBT, if you're gay under Islamic State, you're a dead person. You're a dead person. They throw you off a mountain you know, and they beat you up or whatever. They have their laws. I didn't go straight into it, but I know that under Islam, a gay person is probably a dead person. So at the end of the day, only in America can this guy come and sell the front of Islam that is not truly is that's not truly Islam, because what? They are in the West, and what they are selling is Weslam. They're selling you Weslam and pretending as if that is Islam.
Because you see me at the mosque all the time, you can ask me.
So you see him at the mosque at the time. So there isn't the audience that is there that is Muslim have no benefit of hearing a Muslim asking a question. Do you see? So you have no benefit hearing a Muslim ask a question. So you, because you see him at the mosque at the time, saying at the time, you cannot ask a question that may benefit someone in the audience, because what? He is aiming at the non-Muslims.
We would give preference to those that are not Muslim to be able to use this opportunity to ask their questions. Go for it. All right.
So I really like the idea of what you're saying, because it
Nice.
sounds really nice to like get rid of like hunger and like lower housing prices and stuff. But how would you take into consideration like people's selfishness?
Great question. Great question. Let me repeat the question so everybody can hear, which is, you like the ideas I presented, right? That's good. It's first step. But what about taking into account people's self?
So the woman said she liked the idea that is presented, because you could present any idea to a person and it is such a good idea. You don't take a Muslim or a Christian or atheist to present any good idea. People can present idea that makes so much sense, but application is the thing. Application, and you will see how he attacked the Red Cross. But this is the question I ask: in America today, what organization is that Muslim organization that is doing more than the Red Cross is doing? Expand as far as the Red Cross is doing. When you have situations here in America to regular American citizens, including Muslim or anybody, that you see have done as much as the Red Cross is doing. There's a tornado that wiped out a whole section of community in Kentucky, somewhere in Kentucky, the other day, and the Red Cross is involved in helping that community to rise back. What Muslim organization have involved themselves into helping that community to rise back? So even though we have, say, okay, Donald Trump, so we're going to use Donald Trump for example. Donald Trump have his ways that I don't like, but is there everything about Donald Trump that is bad? No. Biden have his stupidity that I don't like, because Biden is a Muslim. Biden is literally a Muslim, to be real with you. Quoting the Hadith and don't even know what he's quoting. He actually was quoting a Hadith where Muhammad was telling people to kill people, and he didn't even notice that that's what he was quoting. But anyway, he have his bad way. But is there everything about Biden that is bad? No. Biden believe in the Democratic Party. They believe in abortion and crap, and which I don't support. But is there everything that is bad? Everything about the Democratic Party that is bad? No. Is there everything about the Republican Party that is bad? No. But is there things that are bad about them? Yes. Both parties. So at the end of the day, anybody could come up with something that sounds good, but application is the key. And that's why this lady is asking, what about the people who are stingy, in a sense, people who are not giving? And listen to what he's going to say.
Selfishness. But that's the whole point of being a Muslim. What is a Muslim? Somebody who submits their will to their creator.
And do you see how naive Ibn Fibin is? I'm going to show you something. A Muslim is not a person who submit their will to the Creator. That's what they're selling to us. That is what these people are selling to us, and I will show you why. This is true. Unless you want to throw the hadith and this stuff under the bus, then you can sell that kind of stupidity to whoever you feel like you can sell that stupidity to. So let's look at these hadith, and you will see, and tell me how can you how does submission, total submission to the will of this so-called God, is make you a Muslim? Just listen to these hadith, and you will see that that's not true. And if I remember well, there was a sheikh in England who says you could do the most evil things on the face of the earth as long as you pray. Literally, he says you could do all the things you want to do, but long as you pray. And where does he get these things from? I'm sure he have support for these things, but we are going to look at something. We're just going to look at something real fast, and you know, we're going to actually share this so that you guys could see. And don't let nobody, all this stuff about a Muslim is one who submit their will to Allah. That's stupidity. That's stupidity. And we'll show you, because you don't have to. You don't have to. According to Islam, the only sin that Allah doesn't forgive is what? Shirk. According to Islam, the only sin that Allah doesn't forgive is shirk. So a Muslim can be a person who is the most evil person on the face of the earth, but as long as they don't commit shirk. And we'll show you evidence for this. So look at this evidence. So let's look at this evidence right here. So this guy Ibn Farooq, he's talking to a non-Muslim, trying to attract non-Muslim. So I'm making sure that everybody can see what I'm sharing here. At least because okay. So if we look right here, what he says, Abu Burda reported Allah Messenger, may peace be upon him, as saying, there will come amongst the Muslims. Notice what he says. There will come amongst the Muslims on the day of resurrection with as many sin as a mountain. So this person has so much sin, high as a mountain, and Allah will forgive them, and he will place in their stead the Jews and the Christians. So a Muslim can have as much sin. A Muslim can have many, many, many sins and still be a Muslim. Shirk is the only sin that this God doesn't forgive. And notice when this God is forgiving these people on the day of resurrection. So you could live an evil life as long as you don't commit shirk. You could live an evil life as long as you don't commit shirk until the day of resurrection. And notice that this again, it's not this is not the end of it. This is not the end of it. So let's continue to show. This is not the end of it. Listen what Muhammad say right here. Listen what Muhammad say right here. So what this guy is teaching is not Islam. Okay, so I see Muhammad Salobanga, what his name? Salobanga, my little puppet is back in the comment today. So anyway, Abu Burda reported on the authority of his father that Allah's apostle, may peace be upon him, said, no Muslim will die So no Muslim, notice what he says, no Muslim. We already show you that a Muslim could have all the sins in the world except shirk. He said no Muslim will die, but Allah will admit in its stead a Jew and a Christian in hellfire. So a Muslim, when he make the comment saying that is what a Muslim is, he's just being deceptive. Because a Muslim, does not have to be so Jamelia Mohammed, nice to have you here, is what she says. Twislam is a joke. You're right, my sister. Islam is a twist. They twist things in the West. They twist things to satisfy the belief in the West, the humanitarian belief in the West, and they know they're lying. And so here, let's go back to the video, and we will see what he's gonna sell as Islam. But we already show you that a Muslim don't have to follow any rules in Islam except don't commit shirk, and they still be a Muslim. So let's go back to the video, and you will see that this guy, Ibn Fibin, is just selling a joke. Because if you look at the topic of what he's saying, and what is the punishment for gays, and if you look it up, what is the punishment for gay in Islam? What is the punishment? Capital punishment is the punishment, and under certain circumstances, there may be flagging, there may be, but a gay cannot live their regular life under Islam. A gay cannot live as a gay under Islam. So Islam is not bent for today's society. Islam is not the religion of today's society. It's just a pretense right now. What Islam in the West, because they're not powerful enough in the West, in America and other places, to do the evil that they want to do. So they sell a version of Islam that is not really Islam.
Right? I may want to get drunk. Well, I don't, but I'm saying, right? I may. Like, it's not my thing, throwing up.
He said, I may want to get drunk. If you look at the history of Islam regarding drinking of alcohol, the Muslims used to drink alcohol. They used to drink alcohol, and he say, oh, it's not my thing. If he was living in those days, they would be drinking alcohol. And we are going to look at some of the reason why alcohol, and possible reason why alcohol was prohibited by Muhammad. Because if you notice Muhammad do things according to how it affects him. The Quran is written according to how it affects Muhammad. There is even a verse in the Quran that says Muhammad is shy, but Allah is not shy. And it tell people when they go to Muhammad's house how they should when they should leave, and how they should do this and how they should do that. You see what I'm saying? You don't find that kind of stuff in the Bible. When you go to David's house, or when you go to Solomon's house, or when you go to Moses' house, how you behave. The Quran is written, and that's why Aisha could say, I'm going to paraphrase her, it seems like your Lord hastened to fulfill your desire. That's why Aisha could tell Muhammad, it seems, let me find it for you guys. So Aisha told him that it seems like his God hastens to fulfill his desire. And why did that lady tell him that? Because the lady, or maybe she was still a baby. I don't know if she had grow up to maybe 16, 17 years old. I don't know. She maybe still was a baby when she said it. So let's share that with you guys so you guys could see, you know, that Islam was designed by the way it affects. The Quran is designed in many ways how to deal with things that affect Muhammad. So let's share this. So if you look here, the hadith that I'm showing right here, you will see where and she was talking about Muhammad's sexual greed right here, the sexuality of Muhammad. She narrated Aisha, I used to look down upon those ladies who have given themselves to Allah's apostle. So here is this woman, our child, looking down on the women, looking down and upon those women. And I used to say, can a lady give herself to a man? But when Allah revealed, notice, when Allah revealed, oh, you, oh Muhammad, because she is saying, can a lady give herself to a man? Then automatically, guess what? Here comes the God, the pimp God. Here comes the God. So you, oh Muhammad, can postpone the terms of whom you will of them your wives, and you may receive any of them you will. So you could maybe divorce your wife or whatever the postpone the terms mean. I don't know. I put them aside, whatever, you know. And there is no blame on you if you invite one whose term you have set aside temporarily. So it seems like Muhammad could throw one wife to the side and take and spend time with the other wife. And this is Quran 33 verse 51. And this is Aisha. I said to the Prophet, if I feel that your Lord hasten in fulfilling your desire, your wishes and desire. Do you see it? Let me make sure you guys are seeing the whole complete thing. So if you look here, so this baby girl could see the deception of Muhammad. So you see here, she said, I feel that your Lord hastens in fulfilling your wishes and desire. So when you hear Uthman mention alcohol, then consummation of alcohol is much more common in Muslim country than they want you to believe. It's true. It's true. And we see it on some of these videos where they have prostitutes and drinking. You know, I saw a couple of videos where Muslim men have prostitutes and they're drinking and women dancing and all this stuff. Yeah. You know, and that's the worst thing, the undercoverness of evil. You know, when things are in open and you see it, it's better than when you conceal your evil. Because you could know the evil and to stay away from it. But conceal evil is the one that is the worst evil, because conceal evil, people fall into conceal evil. You know, when it's open, people can rebuke you openly, but when it's concealed, you no one knows what you're doing. So as I show you, Aisha is saying that she feels that Allah hastened to fulfill Muhammad's desire. So we are going to get back into the video and we're just going to listen to this guy, and then we're going to talk about alcohol in Islam and how, according to the tafsir and the evidence, what possibly could have caused Muhammad to totally prohibit alcohol. And we're going to see, and it make a lot of sense. So let's go back to sharing this video and we'll see. Because what Uthman do is boast and he try to compare Islam and boast. And you will see that that's his desire. And you could see deception the way he chuckles, the way he do things, it's just deception written all over him.
It's on University Avenue in my own P.
Do you see? So he's talking about lying in his own pee and all this stuff. So I wonder if these Muslims were lying in their own pee when they used to drink alcohol. Because this is what the Quran this is what the Quran says. I think it's in Quran 4 40 was it Quran 4:43. So this is what the Quran tell them: "O you who believe, do not go near prayer when you are intoxicated, until you know well what you say." So that's what the Quran 4 verse 43 told the Muslim not to do. He said, do not pray when you are intoxicated until you know well what you say. So there was a time when Muslim was able to drink. So I'm just wondering, according to Uthman, if those Muslims were laying in their pee, if they were drinking to the point where they were laying in their pee. That's what I'm wondering, if that's what was happening at that time. Because not because a person drink alcohol, that doesn't mean that they have to lay in their pee. There's people who drink alcohol, they come home from work, drink a couple glasses of wine, and they go to their bed, eat their dinner, drink a couple of glasses of wine, take a bath, go to bed, and they go back to work tomorrow, and they live their life, and nobody drinking in their wallowing in their pee. So I don't know if drinking, if when Uthman think about drinking, the only person he can think about is the one who is over drinking. But we see that according to Islam, a lot of these Muslims were over drinking to the point that they were saying things that were affecting Muhammad. So we'll get into that as we continue to watch the video, and you will see where and why I mentioned that they were doing things that were affecting Muhammad is because we see that a lot of the Quran verses came because things affect Muhammad. And let me tell you one instance, covering women. The covering of women came when Umar saw Sada, one of Muhammad's wife, go into the toilet, and then came to Muhammad and said, cover your wife, and maybe tell Muhammad about seeing his wife go into the toilet. And because Muhammad was a very selfish man, because if you know that Muhammad was selfish, no one married to any of his wife after he died. But according to Islamic sources, Muhammad's first wife was married before Muhammad. So no one, even though Aisha was about 18 years old when Muhammad died, Muhammad was so selfish that he forbid people to marry to his wife. So anything that affects Muhammad, you will see Quranic verses. There was a time when Umar said to Sada and Aisha, if paraphrasing, stop behaving like that, because the prophet can divorce you and find another woman and find better woman or something similar to that. And then all of a sudden, a Quran verse came exactly like Umar said it. Exactly like how Umar said it, threatening them that Muhammad can get rid of them and get other women. So when things affect Muhammad, Quran verses came. And this is why Aisha says, I feel that your Lord hasten in fulfilling your wishes and desire. So as we go along, we will see that, Uthman is trying to impress the people we invite to this gathering. So listen to him.
Anyway, so I live close here. I drive by here all the time. Trust me, right?
So he live close here. So maybe where he is, he live in, and that is California, where a lot of homeless people are. Yeah, I've been out there. I've been out to Santa Monica. I've been to LA. I've seen it. I've been to Oakland. I've seen it. There's a lot of homeless people living even on the side of the street. They have tents on the side of the street in some places in LA. In parks, they take over the parks where kids would play ball. They took over the parks. And with homelessness comes a lot of drinking, because alcohol seems to be a medication, in the sense that alcohol is a calming medication. Alcohol can be used as a medication. You could have the most strenuous day at work, and you come home and you grab a glass of wine, and you sit and you drink your wine, and it soothes you out and calm you out, and you go to your bed. Give you a good night's sleep. You could, because alcohol can be used as medication. And I even was at a website where a Muslim says, I was explaining that alcohol have the effect of making you confident, and of making you something else he put. I don't want to lie, but I remember he using the term confident. So, but me, I know that alcohol have can help you if you are overwhelmed and depressed. If you have a bad day, you're overwhelmed and depressed, or any form of stress. Let's put it that way. Stress. It can relieve your stress. A little drink, not, oh, I'm drunk and I'm peeing on myself, as Uthman says. But let's continue.
It's not my thing. But let's say I did. But I would say I submit my desires to my Creator. My Creator knows better. Look, we pray 5 times a day. One of them is early, like 5 a.m. early, right? It's not easy, right? You're tired, you're in bed.
Do you hear what he says? He pray 5 times a day. It's not easy. If it wasn't for, according to the Hadith, if it wasn't for Moses, he would be praying 50 times a day. Let's find out Hadith. Let's find out Hadith where if it wasn't for Moses, Uthman would be praying 50 times a day. So if it wasn't for Moses, Uthman would be praying 50 times a day. If it wasn't for if it wasn't for Moses, Uthman would be praying 50 times a day, man. Let's see if I could find it. Oh, here it is. So Muhammad claimed that a donkey, a mystical donkey, came and got him, like a Uber, a Lyft. So this donkey came and got him. It's a mystical donkey, a flying donkey that take him to heaven and everywhere. So it's a Uber donkey, a flying Uber. So Muhammad says a flying Lyft came and get him, and take him all over the place, and he passed Moses praying in his grave. And this is, that Muhammad was a liar. Muhammad said he passed Moses praying in his grave. And then he tell another story where Moses was at a part of like somewhere in the heaven. He said Moses was praying in his grave, and then he says Moses was at another part in heaven, and when the prayer, when Allah tell him to pray 50 times. And Moses was the one who says, wow, you can pray 50 times. There is a lot of employees who would not employ Muslims because of their prayer. Because a prayer is something, a lot of people believe that Christians don't pray, but a prayer is something. I could be talking to you right now while my heart is praying, because I am, the human being have the ability to double task. We can be saying something while we are actually saying something else in our heart. And you could be driving in a car. If you own a car, you could be driving to work. And a lot of times that's when I talk to God. When I'm driving in my car going to work, a lot of times that's when I talk to God. You're coming from work and you're driving to work, you talk to God. You're driving to the gym, you talk to God. So you could talk to God anytime. You don't need to be looking to your side, looking to the left, and all these stuff. The rich talk, you don't know when you pray. You could be praying and no one knows that you're praying. You're on the job, mixing the concrete, or laying the block, or doing, and you're praying at the same time, and nobody knows that you're praying. You are a chef in the kitchen and you're cooking up your stew or whatever you're cooking, and you're praying to God Almighty. But anyway, listen to this. So this is Sahih al-Bukhari, 7517. So this is actually from a Muslim website called Ikram. What is Hawa Manis or whatever website. I'm not so good at pronouncing these Arabic words and names, but it says the 50 prayer was enjoined on his followers in a day and a night. So 50 prayer. Then the prophet descend till he meet Moses. But notice Muhammad say descend. Where did he meet Moses? In the grave? Maybe because he said he passed Moses praying in his grave. And then he say he descend until he meet Moses. And then Moses stopped him and asked, "Oh Muhammad." So Moses know him. So Moses stopped him and said, "Oh Muhammad, what did your Lord enjoin upon you?" The prophet replied, "He enjoined upon me to perform 50 prayers in a day and night." Moses says, "Your follower cannot do that." So Moses no more than the God. Go back so that your Lord can reduce it for you and for them. So Muhammad went back. So he's saying 3 prayer is tedious and it's hard for him. But he would have 50 prayer. They would not be able to cook, to work, to do anything. This is the craziness of Islam. If you look at the screen right here, let me take this brother off for a minute. If you look when I'm on screen, when you see me on screen, you will see something that I wrote. It says, "Mountain refused to be Muslim because according to the Quran 33 verse 72, the mountains refuse to be Muslim." That's how crazy Islam is. But anyway, let's get back to Uthman Farooq and see what journey this guy is taking. So he's saying 5 prayer was tedious, but what if it wasn't for Moses and Musa? He would be prayed 50 times. He'd be skinny as hell. Anyway,
It's nice. Got that REM sleep going, and now it's prayer time.
So you got your REM sleep, you got your REM sleep going, and then all of a sudden it is prayer time. So it is frustrating for him to pray. Allah is interrupting his REM sleep.
But that's the thing. That's what a Muslim is, who steps on their desires, on their own selfishness, to do what Allah, what our Creator has ordained.
And you already see that that's not true. A Muslim, all a Muslim have to do is say the Shahada. This is reality. According to the hadith that I read, all a Muslim have to do is say the Shahada. Say the Shahada. There's a Muslim guy, I don't know how his stuff is coming to my TikTok. He's always stuff coming to my TikTok because I think TikTok, what they do, if you watch certain things, they started showing you other things. There's a guy, I don't know where he lives, always calling Sam Shamoun and David Wood's name. If you listen to him sometime, he sounds like he's drunk. He slurs his word, he closes his eyes, he's just always acting like he's drunk. And one day I'm gonna make a video about him, and I don't know if you guys know him, always acting like he's drunk, and he drive while he making his video. A lot of his video is made while he's driving, and you could tell that the way he's looking in on the camera and doing unsafe. He's actually violating road code, United States road code to make videos, and that's and that's a Muslim, because according to the hadith, you can there will come Muslims with sin high as a mountain, and Allah will forgive them and throw their sin upon and put in their stead in hellfire the Jews and the Christians. And then other hadith says no Muslim will die, but Allah will place in their stead the Jews and the Christians. And we know that the only sin Allah will forgive their sins. That means, and we know the only sin that Allah doesn't forgive is shirk. And notice what he says on the day of judgment. And Muhammad was also heard telling the Muslims, and we know this is not a lie. We know this from the hadith, that Muhammad said, if you did not sin, Allah would replace you with people who would sin, and then he would forgive them. So all this that he's saying, that you a Muslim have to follow Allah all the way. No, you don't. You don't have to follow Allah all the way. It's not like Christianity where he says no deceitful, no liar, no this, no will enter the kingdom. When you read in the Bible, he says no wicked, no warmonger, no sexually gross person, no all this, no all that, no all that, no, none of you will enter the kingdom, according to the Bible. It does not say that. Islam is not that. Islam is not that. You could have sin high as a mountain, no Muslim will die. So let's continue.
And that's why you see many Muslims around the world they're very strict. If you go to Muslim countries, for example,
he said many Muslims around the world, they are very strict. You can't take that away. That is true. They are very strict in following the ritual of Islam. And there are kind Muslim, because within us as human being, they are kind atheists. So because within us, innate within us, God create the law, is law within us. And we'll find a lot of people who will adhere by certain laws. You have atheists who, if you are hungry, they will feed you. It have nothing to do with religion in some of the ways that some people behave. But what you must look at is not what It's not the action of people, it's what the books are saying. So if you look at what Islam, the book and the hadith and what the prophet is saying, the prophet is saying that you could sin as much as you want. That's what Islam teaches. You could sin as much as you want. You don't commit shirk against the and commit shirk. You're safe. You don't go against Muhammad. You don't blaspheme against Muhammad. You're safe, because blasphemy against Muhammad is tantamount to death. There was a time when a man was mocking Abu Bakr, and I think Ali was the guy. Ali sent message to Abu Bakr and said to Abu Bakr, like, hey, what should I do with him? Something similar like that. And Abu Bakr said, leave him alone. If he, the only person he could, if he mocked Muhammad, then he would be a dead man. Because Ali wanted to hurt the man. And Abu Bakr says, no, don't hurt him. If he was a prophet, then you can hurt him. So at the end of the day, only if something affect Muhammad or affect Allah, in the sense of you worshiping other than Allah, that's the only time you are in trouble in Islam. That's the only time you're in trouble. Also, you could commit adultery and stuff like that, and you'll be killed. But at the end of the day, who knows? You're a Muslim who commit adultery. He says, on the day of resurrection, there will come some with sin high as a mountain and be forgiven. So if you are a Muslim, you commit adultery on the day of resurrection, quote unquote, because we know there's no day of resurrection for Islam. It's just stupidity of a madman. But what we are saying, according to them, these Muslims who are stoned for their adultery and their whatever, they could be safe, because Muhammad is saying no Muslim will enter into the fire, but a Jews and a Christian will be placed in the fire in their stead. And he's saying that there will come Muslim with sins as high as a mountain, and Allah will forgive them and place in their stead the Jews and the Christians. So at the end of the day, there are Muslims who live a certain life, and they are normally, I wouldn't say good, because only God is good, but they are normally fine people. And there's atheists who live this life, and they are normally fine people. There's atheists that, they don't go around fighting their neighbor. They live by the law of the land, and they a lot of them don't even drink alcohol. They don't. So it doesn't, to say they're strict Muslim. Strict in what way? If you're following the Quran, to be a strict Muslim is the one who follow the Quran. And ISIS and those people are, to me, are the strict Muslim, according to when you read the Quran and the Hadith. ISIS, Boko Haram, those people are strict Muslim.
In the month of Ramadan, you will see charity like you wouldn't believe.
So in the month of Ramadan, you will see charity. Wow. In the month of binge eating, that's when you see charity. Because Islam is not fasting. They eat all the food that they can eat within a certain period of time, and then they fast the rest of the time. They eat all the food that we would eat in 24 hours. They eat it within a certain time, and then they fast the rest of it. That's not fasting. Then they don't eat the rest of the time. That's not fasting, because you're not missing any meal. You're just eating them all at the same time. So in the month of Ramadan, you will see charity. Wow. You will see charity in the month of Ramadan. Why? Why not in the rest of the month?
People will come to a mosque that they don't know anybody, and they will put like 10 grand to feed everybody in the neighborhood. That kind of.
So in the month of Ramadan, people will come to the mosque and pay 10 grand to feed people and the rest 1 month, and the rest of the month. What a beautiful guy. Anyway,
Nothing goes on. And there may still be some people who will be selfish. But even if a few,
he said there may be some people who will be selfish. Yeah, in every society you have selfish people. In every society, so don't cover up nothing. In every society, in every society, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you are atheist, whether you secular, whatever society, you're gonna have selfish people. It's no different in Islam. It is no different in Islam. So you are taking us in the month of Ramadan, and but what about the rest of the year? And not feeding the people the rest of the year, that's selfishness at the end of the day.
we just gave an example of one man, were to adopt such morals, we could end world.
He just gave an example of one man. So if one man come in the month of Ramadan, he just give example of one man and the month of Ramadan, not going around feeding your neighbor, but on the month of Ramadan. And then who is he feeding? Muslims. Who is he feeding? He's feeding Muslims. And that this guy don't realize that that's what he's actually preaching, that Muslim feed Muslims. That's what he preaching. And you could end world hunger when Muslim feed Muslim. That don't even make no sense. That don't make no sense. When Muslim feed Muslim, because he just gave an example of a man who feed people on Ramadan and who celebrate Ramadan. They come in the mosque and they feed people on Ramadan. Who celebrate Ramadan? Muslims. So Muslim feeding Muslim, and you will end world hunger. Where is the head on this guy, man? I'm gonna give him a gift because he deserves a gift. He deserves a gift because I don't know what is wrong with this guy. Why is it that he can't speak sensible things? So let's give him the gift that we always give to people when they speak beautifully. This is, just listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. You see, where is the sense in what he's talking? Where is the sense in what he's talking? A guy came to the mosque and he gives some charity while he's at the mosque because people are fasting. He feed the people who are fasting, and he says, if everybody do like that, they end world poverty or world hunger, something like that. You're feeding people who are fasting, Muslim who are fasting, and you are going to end world hunger. Wow. What a beautiful soul. Oh, man. When you try to sell something to people, to attract people, you sell yourself and you don't even know. When the wisdom of people listen to what you say, then you realize that what you're saying is not anything, but you're just speaking.
Hunger. We're not saying every rich person, but even a few, right? So if you like those ideas, then every one of us at a grassroots level have to start implementing it, right? If me and you,
not that I'm against what he's saying, I'm not against that people should start taking care of each other. That's not the thing here. But if you notice, he's trying to sell Islam as the solution, and it's not the solution. And I will show you why as we continue.
Accept Islam, and if me and you start bringing these,
he said, if me and you accept Islam, so he's selling it to the people. If me and you accept Islam, he's already accept Islam. So who is he talking to? If me and you accept Islam, and me and you start bringing these things in, listen.
Morals into our life, then we begin the change. Don't expect change to come from the top.
So if me and you accept Islam and start feeding Muslim, because notice he haven't talked about feeding anybody, he's talking about feeding Muslims, taking care of Muslims. If me and you accept Islam and start taking care of Muslims, so not the other the other things about Islam. Forget about the other things about Islam. Accept Islam and feed Muslims. Forget all the bad things about Islam and accept Islam and feed Muslims. That's what he's selling. Do you see that? Because the guy giving the example that he gave about Ramadan, who was being fed at Ramadan? The Muslims are being fed at Ramadan. So one Muslim person feed another Muslim person. And that's the example that he gives. So accept Islam and forget about all the bad things about Islam. Forget about Islam want to kill lesbian and gays and gay men. And forget that Islam want to kill you if you leave Islam. They want to kill you if you leave Islam. Forget if you're under Islamic rule, you cannot open your mouth and say anything bad about Muhammad. They kill you. Forget about that women are seen as second-class citizens to the point where the Quran says you can beat your wife. Forget about all those stuff. Forget about the fact that under Islamic law they can implement that your 9-year-old be married. Forget all these things. Forget about chopping off the hand of a thief. Forget all these things. Just forget about these things and just become a Muslim and you're safe. But this is the point where we just look at a Quran verse and you will see. Let's look at this Quran verse and we'll see something. So we're going to look at something. This is what the Quran tell Muslim to do. And this is Surah 48 verse 29. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are forceful against the disbeliever, merciful among themselves. That is Sahih International. But if you go to Pictal, you will see what Pictal says. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are hard against the disbelievers and merciful among themselves. Let's try another translation. Mushin Khan. Muhammad is a messenger of Allah, and those who are with him are severe against the disbelievers and merciful among themselves. So you see, do you see what this Abdul is not showing is invite you to Islam and within it's like within the Jehovah's Witness community, or they're okay with themselves, but then the outside world is nothing to them. And when one in the Jehovah's Witness organization, when one person leaves the organization, they disfellowship with that person and they don't even talk to him, they shun him. the difference with Islam under the Islamic law, if you leave the organization, they kill you, and they are proud of that. Proud of that. You know who that is? Halidawa. And when some little weaklings like you leave your religion and corrupt and corrupt bring corruption to the land, then capital punishment is I'm paraphrasing it, is good for you, and we are proud of that, and we'll be watching. So you'll be watching people get killed. You know, so they're not telling you these things. What they're telling you is if you and I accept Islam and be kind to Muslims, so you're gonna hear him start attacking the Red Cross, attacking Christianity, and attacking the Red Cross. Listen to him.
Top. Because the top is too busy being rich and enjoying it, right? It's got to come from the bottom.
It said the top is too busy being rich. When Muhammad and look, you know, when Muhammad was raiding people's community and was raiding caravans, 1/5 of what they got, 1/5 of what they got from the caravan belonged to Muhammad. So if they raid the caravan and they get $500, just using the dollar, even though there was no dollar in those days, they get $500. $100 belonged to Muhammad, and the rest $400 share up among all the other people. So you see, but what Muhammad was doing, you will see how this guy, you know, is gonna sell Islam as if Islam is better than anything that he sees in the world, and it's not true.
But it will grow, and as it grows, it happens. In history, if you look up Umar ibn Abdul Aziz or these kinds of people in the Islamic history, you will find in their times there was nobody to take charity.
Do you hear what he says? There was a time when there were nobody under the Islamic rule to take charity. Who knows? You know, the name he called, because of the, you know, I could not look it up, but what we know, that in India, we know this, that in India, under the Mughal Empire, we know that they were charging the non-Muslim, the Hindus have to pay jizya, and even the poor Hindus have to pay jizya, and cause a lot of these people to be into deeper poverty. Put a lot of these people into deeper poverty because Islam was reigning and exploiting those people. They call it protection tax, and we know that it's nothing about protection tax, because if you are the ruler of a country, all citizens should be protected. You should fight so that all citizens be protected, you know, if you are the ruler and if you are a just ruler. But when you start exploiting money from people, called protection tax, you're doing just like the mob bosses used to do in New York and Cleveland, where they used to take protection money from store owners and other people, you know. But if you look into the history, if you don't look into the history, so they actually were taking more money from the poorer class than they were taking from the richer class. The poorer class were actually paying more money than the rich. The middle class were the ones who paid the most money, and then the poor class the second, and then the richer class, because were paying the most, you know. So and that was like in the 1600, 1700. Though that was happening. So that's not even that long ago. So he used an example, but there is many example of exploitation that where Muslim was exploiting non-Muslims, and at the same time they live as second-class citizens. So when he's talking about ending world and come join Islam, he's talking about helping Muslims. He's not talking about helping the world. And you will see as he go along, he started attacking the Red Cross. And I'm asking the question, and I hope that Muslim was watching, and for him to post one, this guy right here, let me put his name right there. He said, I'm here. He says, I want him to show one organization, Muslim organization in the United States that is doing more than the Red Cross is doing in the time of trouble, in the time of human crisis in the United States. And, so at the end of the day, you will see where he go off and he started attacking.
Because when people were living those morals, that kind of hunger had finished. You're always going to have somebody who's less advantaged and more advantaged, but at least you won't have somebody going to bed hungry. At least you won't have people starving around the world. At least you won't have people without homes.
And that's not true. As in India, if you look up the history in India, you will see that a lot of times money, jizya were taken from the poor. Jizya were taken from the poor, non-Muslims. And what does that jizya do? It support Muslim economy. It support the Muslim and not the non-Muslim, because you don't have war all the time. So, but they're taking jizya from you all the time. So they were taxing. And if you look at what the reason jizya is paid, Muhammad says, so they will pay the jizya and feel humiliated. So jizya is to show that I am superior to you. Paying jizya is to show that you are inferior to me and I am superior to you. It's just that these they try to put a name to it, call it protection taxes. But according to the Quran, you pay the jizya and feel subjugated. So let's look at look. If you look at this, let's look at it. And is Surah 9 verse 29. It says, fight those who do not believe in Allah and in the last days, and do not consider unlawful what Allah and his messenger had made lawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scriptures. Fight until they give the jizya willingly while they are humbled. And that is Sahih International. So this is the eternal word of this God telling to fight people who don't believe in Allah until they pay the jizya willingly while they are humbled. So to pay the jizya is to be humiliated. So fight until they give the jizya. So fight until they give the protection law, they give the protection tax. No, fight until they pay you and be humiliated to pay you. That's what it means. They pay you for their life. That's exactly what it means. Protection from who? Protection from Muslim, I guess. So Muhammad went to the Jews and says to the Jews, accept Islam and you will be safe. He was in the mosque praying. He went to the Jews and he said to the Jews, he went down to a place called Beit al-Madras. and he said to the Jews, accept Islam and you will be safe. He said, the earth belonged to me. And let me find it for you guys. Let me find it. Let me find it. So here we go. Narrated Abu Hurairah, while we were in the mosque, the Prophet came out and said, let us go to the Jew. So this man finished praying and all is on his mind is the Jew. We went till we reached to a place called Beit ul Madras. He said to them, if you embrace Islam, you will be safe. You know that the earth belonged to Allah and his apostle, and I want to expel you from this land. So if anyone amongst you own any property, he is permitted to sell it. Otherwise, you should know that the earth belonged to Allah and his apostle. Sahih al-Bukhari 4, book 56, number 392. So you see, you know, what this Muslim is selling as Islam is a fraud, you know, is a fake Islam. So here is another Muslim. You are here spreading nonsense. You're right. Islam is nonsense. The hadith that I'm reading, everything that I'm quoting is nonsense. It's Islam. You're right, Abdul. Do you see? They fight against their own religion. You are here spreading nonsense. He right. I just read his hadith and he said you are here spreading nonsense because Islam is nonsense. And and the guy video. Do you see the video from the guy? You know, I'm analyzing and reacting to a video from this guy. He says nonsense. But listen to it. Listen. Let's continue.
Imagine if 2.5% of that wealth that's in San Diego, just San Diego, right? Let's not all San Diego, half of San Diego, gives all.
But do you notice what he's saying? If 2.5% of that wealth in San Diego, are these people Muslim in San Diego? No, they are not Muslim in San Diego. Zakat is a Muslim from the Quran, and it is for Muslim to pay zakat to take care of other Muslims. But you hear what he's saying. If 2% of the wealth in San Diego, he's acting like Islam is about other people. Islam is not about other people. Do you see the hadith that I just read, where Muhammad telling them to people to sell their land and get away from off his land, out of Medina, their own land. These were Jewish land before Muhammad came in, and Muhammad is telling these people to get off the land, get out of the land that they own, they belong to their own. He go and he conquer them and get even the woman who poisoned Muhammad. Why did the woman poison Muhammad? Because Muhammad killed her family. Do you see? So at the end of the day, and according to the Quran 33:21, Muhammad is an excellent example for anyone who wish in the last day, who have hope in the last day. So this guy is selling fraud. This Muslim is totally selling fraud. So look again. Let's continue. So he's talking about the wealth in 2.5% of the wealth, but at the same time he's attacking the Red Cross. But there is no Muslim organization in America that when you have disaster in America that do more than the Red Cross. Not saying that there is not fault in the Red Cross, but can you show me a Muslim organization that have fault or without fault that is equal to the Red Cross here in America? None. You can't show me none.
Only 2.5%. We could build houses for all the homeless. We could set up industries with that money.
That is just a dream in his head. Because what? He's looking at other people's money. He's not looking at what Muslim are doing, and Islam, Muslim money. It's like I, as a Christian, is saying, looking at atheist money or a Muslim money, and say, oh, you should do this with your money and take care of Christians with your money. No, Muhammad make it obligatory, and actually I went to a site and the site say it's not obligatory. I think the guy say it's not obligatory at the site that I went to. It was a Muslim. They asked a question about zakat, and the guy says it is not obligatory. He's answering it. He says it's not obligatory. So, and it's true that it's not obligatory, because if Muhammad is saying that they will come Muslim on the day of judgment with sin high as a mountain, and Allah will forgive them and place in their stead the Jews and the Christian, and then he's saying that no Muslim will die in hellfire, but Allah will replace them with the Jews and the Christian. That means that Muslim can do anything, because Allah the only sin according to Islam that Allah don't forgive is shirk. So Allah, you could do whatever you feel like doing. You don't have to be obligated to no one. You just do whatever you do, you know. So at the end of the day, this guy is just trying to sell something to the non-Christians, non-Muslims in his audience.
Right? Not where a church takes 70% of the money and gives 30% for show. Not all these organizations.
So he said not all about a church that take 70% and of this and that. A church is the people. You know, people don't understand that the church is the people. So if the people take 70%, you know, from who they're taking it from themselves. But we have these so-called churches, you know, so-called churches where the pastors, it's an organization built by the pastors to put money in their pocket to get rich. Because who are these people? They are deceptive wolves, just like Muhammad. The only thing they're robbing the people. The only thing they didn't do, they didn't go as far as Muhammad do, because Muhammad was robbing the people, robbing caravan, raiding cities and stuff like that. He was killing the people while he take the money from them. You know, I have right here, some things can happen to you in your life where a person can run you away from a city. You know, the Messiah came here and was running all over the place, you know, because he have a job to perform before they kill him. And he was running from people, from place to place. And according to what we know, the Messiah is God manifested in the flesh. And we see where the Messiah, the owner of the earth, was running from place to place to place, because he came as a human being like I to take my place in death, to show me love. He became a human being like I. And he was running from this place to that place, to this place, to that place, to avoid harassment from the very creature that he created, because he was in the limitation of a man. But you see, Muhammad, on the other hand, who is just a mere man, never create a bird, never create a fly, but we see where Muhammad, according to Al-Tabari and even Sahih al-Bukhari, where Muhammad, because of the distress he put on the Meccan about their gods, they decided to wage war on him and run him away from Mecca. And he came back with an army, and this is what Bukhari wrote about the incident. When the events of Badr was over, Allah revealed the 8th surah, the spoils of war. So hear this now, spoil of war. We already established that Muhammad was revealing things to suit himself. And Aisha said, it seems like your Lord, or I feel that your Lord hasten to fulfill your wants and desire, or your needs and desire. So here it is. After this war, all of a sudden there was a surah came, the 8th surah, the spoils of war in its entirety. The two armies met, and Allah defeat the Meccans. 70 of them were killed, and 70 were taken capture. Now listen to Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr said, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, these are your people, your family. They are your cousin, fellow clansmen, and nephews. I think that you should accept ransom for them, so that what we take from them will strengthen us." So exploit. I'm gonna accept ransom for them, and you pay me and you get them back. That's a mob boss. That's a mob boss. Pay me and you get your people back. So we're gonna accept ransom for these people. Pay me and you get your people back. So we see that people like Reinhard Bonnke, Benny Hinn, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Joel Olston, people like those, they are thieves. They are robbers and thieves. And we know that, because what they do, they exploit the people. They rich get rich off the people. And what they give back to the society is minute to what they get from the society. They are millionaires from robbing people. But Muhammad wasn't doing anything better. Muhammad was robbing people and killing people, because notice Muhammad went away, came back with an army, capture people, ransom people, take what they own, because you could come back and establish yourself with your army, subdue people with your army, but you didn't have to take what they own, and because these are your own people. These are your own people. But he came and he take what they own, and then the men that he captured, the people that he captured, he ransomed them for money. And this is after Jesus told him, love your enemies. And the Paul that they ate said, do not repay evil for evil. Romans 12, verse 17. Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Muhammad was safe in Medina, and he came back to Mecca to wage war and to capture people for money. And you hear this wolf right here? Listen to this wolf. He is pointing his finger at preachers.
Organizations. I mean, you go to many of these charity organizations, and they take the I'm not trying to mention names here, but Red Cross.
So you see that wolf, I'm not trying to mention name here, but he said, Red Cross. But I'm asking this wolf, and anybody who watched this video and know this wolf, to show me any Muslim organization in America right now who does more for people in the time of disaster. There is a big disaster that happened at the bottom of Kentucky. Where a tornado, or maybe it's multiple tornado, that touched down into a little city and totally devastate the city. The last time I was listening, like 70 odd people were killed. The last time I was listening, the Red Cross was there. What Muslim organization was there? Because all this thing that he's selling is to Muslim taking care of Muslim. That's what he is selling. Muslim taking care of Muslim. Because according to the Quran, what it says right here, what it says, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those with him are forceful against the disbeliever and merciful among themselves. So you are merciful amongst themselves. So You know, and that's what he's selling. He's not selling anything that, you know. So forceful against the disbeliever, and we know the video says LGBT and Islam Q&A session with Sheikh Uthman, and we know what forceful is against homosexuality in Islam. We all know that.
You go to these organizations and you look at their operation.
And do you see people laughing? Because people are not thinking. If you are there, I'm not saying that everything the Red Cross do is up to par, but tell that Abdul to show us a Muslim organization in the America that when they have disaster do as much as for people as the Red Cross do. Can't show. Cannot show. Cannot show that. Can't show. Because they're only here taking from the society here for themselves. You cannot show that. And when he talk about California, he mean California under an Islamic reign. That's what he's talking about. Under an Islamic reign. But what about the people of California who are not Muslim? Then they would have to pay jizya and be humiliated and be second-class citizens. He's not telling you that stuff because he's a wolf.
Operating budget, their CEOs are making millions of dollars. Millions. That's like.
And do I disagree with him when he said that? No. I think that's unfair. But at the same time, you have to look at two sides of the coin. You know, if he was not comparing Islam with the Red Cross that he believed is a Christian organization, if he was not comparing Islam with that, then that would, and he making a speech and he was just making a regular speech, then that is a different story. You see what I'm saying? Then I would have no problem at all with him. But the problem is him comparing Islam to the Red Cross when Islam do nothing at all in America when there is a disaster. When there is a disaster, what does Islam do? When there was Hurricane Katrina, where was Islam? Where was the Islamic organization that do more than the Red Cross during Hurricane Katrina? When there is pandemics and stuff all over the world, where is the Muslim organization that do more than what the Red Cross do? So even though we see fault within the Red Cross, there is no Muslim organization in America that you can compare to the Red Cross. So talk is cheap.
Me and you are putting $10 for that charity, and he's making $1 million. How much of that money is making it to the poor?
And do you see? He's talking about how much of that money is making it to the poor. Where have you seen Islamic organization affecting that a known Islamic organization that is affecting poors across the United States? Nowhere. So that, is cheap talk. All that is cheap talk. You could make all the speech you want to make. The Red Cross is not perfect, but you don't have anything comparable to it in Islam in America.
In Islam, that money doesn't go to the imam. Like you see.
And do you see that? He said, in Islam, that money don't go to the imam. But where is the Islamic organization like the Red Cross? That's what we want to know. Can you show us one? I would like a Muslim to come and show us where is the Islamic equivalent or even better, because he's acting as if there's a better than the Red Cross. Can any Muslim come on the show and show us where is the Islamic better? Can any one of these Muslims come on the show and show us that, hey, there is better in Islam? Can any one of you people come on and show me the better in Islam? You can't. So what Muslim do is point finger and make vain talk. Because Islam don't care about America. Islam care about converting America to Muslim. They don't care about America. They care about converting America to become Muslim, because that's his goal right here. Sell you infatuated feeling. That's his goal, to sell you an infatuated feeling. Not to tell you the reality of things, but sell you something that make you feel gushy and mushy on the interior. Appealing to emotions.
In other places where the imam or the priest or the minister or the whatever else gets that money and then, you know, builds their own mansions and all that kind of stuff. That's not in Islam.
But he's lying, because Muhammad was getting 1/5 of what was stolen from the people. Muhammad was getting 1/10 of what was stolen from the people. And Boko Haram is robbing Nigeria blind. You know, even people's children they are stealing, just like Muhammad did. So at the end of the day, you could point your finger at anything you call Christianity, like the Red Cross, you call the Red Cross Christianity. For me, I don't see the Red Cross as Christianity. I have some Christian values within it, but I don't see the Red Cross as a Christian organization. I don't. Whoever want to see it that way, they see it as that way. Because, and at the same time, you could also maybe, let me look back at that. It could be a Christian organization. When the Messiah was walking here, the Messiah have a disciple called Judas who carried the money bag, and Judas was a thief stealing from the money bag. So, you know, don't, in every organization you're going to have a Judas, and Muhammad was the Judas in the Meccan society. Muhammad was the Judas. He was selling out his people. Do you see what Abu Bakr says here? Muhammad was the Judas, betray his own people. Not because people run you away from where they run you away from. That doesn't mean that you come back and rob them. When the event of Badr was over, Allah revealed the 8th surah, the spoil of war. Why do you have to take people's stuff? You fight them, but you didn't have to take what they own. In this entirety, the two army met. But this is where you go to the bottom of it, and you see Abu Bakr said, "O Prophet of Allah, these are your people, your family, they are your cousins, your fellow clansmen, your nephews. I think that you should accept ransom for them, so that what we take from them will strengthen us." So take from them, you know. It more seems like Muhammad raided them to rob them. You know, because all of a sudden Allah really revealed the spoils of war, and Abu Bakr, he said, let's ransom them and make money from their ransom. So how you can compare that to the Red Cross? Because the Red Cross take $10 from you. Did they come into your bank account and take your $10? I see you going down the street in your car and throw a blockade across the street and rob you like Muhammad used to rob caravan. No, they didn't do that. They did not do that. They didn't do that. So you cannot compare Islam with the Red Cross. People give to these churches. You have the option of not giving to these churches. You have the eyeball to see when a person is using you and when they're not using you. In the sense of Muhammad, there was none of that, because if you show any resistance to Muhammad, you are a dead person. And how do we know that you are a dead person? The evidence is here. The evidence is here. Muhammad was killing people who write poetry against him. And, you know, there is an incident, and this is from Ibn Ishaq and Ibn Isam. And you will see, you know, where Muhammad said, kill any Jew that fall into your power. And this man get up and kill a Jew. You know, You know, this Muhammad just killed people. So scared, you get scared of Muhammad. You're not gonna do anything stupid when you're scared of Muhammad, and that's the reality of it. The reality of it is that
It doesn't go to the mosque. This goes to the needy, right? Some people are going to stay selfish, but if people like me and you start, then we make a change.
so you go to the. So he's saying that it doesn't go to the mosque; it go to the needy. Which needy? The Muslim needy. There's a mosque just right down there. You know, I've never seen them going about giving nobody nothing in the community. Who I see doing that? Christians. Christians I see doing that, going about. I live in a condo, and if I go downstairs, there's the last time I went there was can things that Christian brought and put there. Nobody in this building need anything, but they don't know that, but they leave it there. So you could take that can back, that's what I'm gonna do, and put it back into the food bank. Christians are the ones giving to everybody, and there's Muslims live here. There's Muslims live here. So the Christian who drop the food off don't care who take the food. They don't care. Christians are the ones you see doing this here. You don't see, and there's a mosque down there. Up the hill, on the other side of town, I don't know what the east side of town, there is a mosque. And like two churches and a mosque. There's a church here, a church there, and a mosque. In the community, even Muslim, the Adventist church is the one inviting Muslims to come. The Adventist church is the one you see inviting Muslims to come and in a united way, people uniting as people. You'll see that with the Muslims here. So I don't know what he's talking about. They might be giving the zakat, but who is getting it? Muslim getting it. Whoever give the zakat is not coming to the community. It's going to them.
Good. Other questions? Ready? All right. She's becoming Muslim today.
Do you see? She's becoming Muslim today. So he's talking to impress somebody. She's becoming Muslim today. This guy's a wolf. Look at that smile on his face. This guy is a wolf. But anybody live in America and live, what do you see Muslim doing here in America? What do you see them doing in the communities? Even though there's one mosque there, and there's a house in this one area I used to work where they use as a house of prayer. It's a building, is somebody I think buy the house or rent the house, and they're using it as a prayer for their prayer, the place of prayer. You see them going there all the time. You know, have I ever seen Muslim going around in the community and helping out anybody? No, they don't. They behave as if they're better than other people. So at the end of the day, what is this guy selling? But we're gonna get to the point, the alcohol point.
Next, more questions.
Can I make a quick announcement?
Sure.
We have a sign-in sheet that's going around. If everyone can scan it on their phone and then fill out the form. And this is not the sign-in sheet for your classroom. That's another sheet that we're going to be providing to you at the end of it. So if you could all please fill that out, that would be really appreciated. Thank you.
All right, come on. Questions. There you go.
Can I just add on to what she said?
Sure.
There was a time at a point where alcohol was halal, meaning like it was allowed to drink. But then God seeing that people weren't praying, people were messing up, people were being lazy, drunk, stuff like that, and they weren't being responsible. There's a reason why it's haram now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So this guy is saying that there was a time when alcohol was allowed and God see. So God see that people was lazy and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that. What this guy don't realize that he's actually selling his God short. So there was a time when alcohol was haram, but then the God see that people were lazy. But if you look at at the Quran, he says, "You who believe, do not go near prayer when you are intoxicated." That is Surah 4 verse 43. So until you, and then he says, until you know well what you say. So what I'm saying, according to this guy, he said God see that people weren't praying, and God see that people weren't doing this and this and that and that. So why didn't that God at that time say, hey, alcohol is haram? Why didn't he just say that alcohol is haram? He have to wait and see. So what he wait and see wasn't happening before? Is that, what he wait and see, according to this guy, he says God saw that people weren't praying, and that's why he stopped the alcohol. He said God saw that people weren't praying, and that's why he stopped the alcohol. But let's look at some possible reason. I've already established that anytime something affects Muhammad, there's a revelation. Anytime somebody questions something and somebody affects Muhammad, and something affects Muhammad, there is a revelation. And you see that several times. One case is when Umar saw Sada, Muhammad's wife, going to use the toilet. Then all of a sudden there was a revelation. Another case is when Umar said to Aisha and Sada that the messenger of Allah can put you away and find better women than you. I'm paraphrasing. And then all of a sudden, just like Umar said it, a verse was revealed exactly the same way Umar said it. There are several cases where Muhammad, all of a sudden, something boom. Even in this case right here that we read, where Muhammad, let's go back and show you. You will see how convenient this Allah is. Just even right here, you see. Even right here, when the event of Badr was over, Allah revealed the 8th surah, the spoil of war. Conveniently, as soon as they captured these people, property, the spoil of war, there's a revelation. Oh, you can take their money. You can take what they have. Do you see that? So when we see this Muslim say, that the God saw them not doing, the God saw that they were not praying and this and that. The God should have known that from the beginning, that they would not pray, because the God should have foreknew these things. But let's look at what Ibn Kathir says. This is Ibn Kathir. Ibn Abi Atim has recorded some reports about the incident and its relationship. Saad said, 4 ayat was revealed concerning me. A man from the Ansar once made some food and invited some mujahirin, and Ansar men to eat, and we ate and drank until we became intoxicated. So we became intoxicated. We then boast about our status. Then a man held a camel's bone and injured Saad's nose, which was scarred ever since. This occurred before Al-Qamar was prohibited, before strong drink, I think, was prohibited, and Allah revealed later. So there's a new verse that was revealed later. or you who believe approaching that your prayer when you are in a drunken state. So you see that people were fighting each other and hurting each other. So that's one reason. That's just one reason. Now I'm going to give you another reason. And this reason is a grand reason. There are many reasons, but this is one reason that I'm going to give you. Okay, so here is a reason. And this is from Sahih al-Bukhari 3375. Muhammad have an uncle called Hamza, and Hamza got drunk. And here I'm just gonna read part of it, you know. So Hamza got drunk, and here is Hamza. Let me see where actually. The Prophet came out in the company of Zayd bin Aratha, who was with him then, and I too went with them. He went to Hamza and spoke harshly to him. So Muhammad went to Hamza. Hamza was maybe drunk and behaving in a certain way. And Muhammad went to Hamza and spoke harshly to him. Because Muhammad was very disrespectful. And I'm going to show you why I know that Muhammad was very disrespectful, even though these people believe that Muhammad was not disrespectful. Let me show you that Muhammad was disrespectful. They will sell Muhammad as a nice person, but this is Muhammad. And Muhammad is talking about himself. You look into this and tell me if this man was respectful as these Muslims claim. So you look and see if this man was as respectful as these Muslims claim. You know, Abu Hurairah reported Allah Messenger as saying, "O Allah, I make a covenant with thee against which thou wouldest never go. I am a human being, and thus for a Muslim whom I give any arm, or whom I scold, or upon whom I invoke a curse, or whom I beat. Make this a source of blessing, purification, and nearness to thee on the day of resurrection." So you see, Sahih Muslim 32, number 6290. So Muhammad was beating people, he was scolding people, he was invoking curse upon people. That's disrespect. So Muhammad have his status and was he had this status and he was violating people. So who knows what he said to Hamza, his uncle. So he said so I think Zayd or Ali, one of them giving the story. So he says the Prophet came out in the company of Zayd bin Aretha, who was with him then, and I too went with them. He went to Hamza, his uncle, and spoke harshly to him. Hamza looked up and said, "Aren't you only the slave of my fathers?" The Prophet retreated and went out. The incident happened before the prohibition of drinking. So you see, alcohol, when people drink alcohol, sometimes some people drink alcohol and they cannot keep a secret. They can't keep a secret. They spill everything in their guts. I grew up in Jamaica in a place where there's a 2 rum factory. It was sugarcane factory, but they also make rum from sugarcane. And rum is like strong, and from those factory you could get the rum before the rum is distilled, before the rum is the finality of the rum. So you are getting something stronger than moonshine. Harsh, you could smell it from a distance. And there were people who were drinking that stuff. And there were different kind of people. Some people, when they drink it, they are the mellowest and the nicest and the most pleasant person you will ever meet. They will sing some songs and they will joke with you and they will dance and stuff. And then some people, when they drink it, they are the most destructive person you will ever meet. Then some other people, when they drink it, they let out every secret. Every secret they know about you, they will let it out. And do you notice what Hamza, Muhammad, uncle, after Muhammad was harsh with the man Hamza looked up and said, "Aren't you only the slave of my forefathers?" Muhammad got, and then this is what he says: the prophet retreated and went out. The incident happened before the prohibition of drinking. So this here could be another reason why there was a prohibition in the drinking of alcohol. Muhammad was scared of people telling his story because Muhammad was a fraud. So Muhammad was scared of people telling his story. And there are other reasons. That's not the only reason. Ibn Abi Atam narrated, Ali bin Abi Talib said, Abdurrahman bin Auf made some food to which he invited us and served some alcohol to drink, and we became intoxicated, and the time of prayer came, and they asked someone to lead us in prayer. He recited, "Say, O believers, I do not worship that which you worship, but we worship that which you worship. Say, O disbelievers, I do not worship that which you worship, but we worship that which you worship." So he was repeating Surah 109 verse. It's Surah 109, and he says, so you are. He's supposed to say, "Oh believers, I do not worship what you worship," and he says, "But we worship what, but we worship that which you worship." Revealing Muhammad's secret again, and claiming that this man was drunk. This man may not even be drunk, because what? They worship the same thing. So you see that people, there were so many reasons. There were other reasons why, Muhammad may have forbid drinking, because Muhammad allowed drinking to continue for a while. So and even in the Quran it says there is benefits in alcohol, but the evil in the overweigh the benefit. And the craziness about it, it says benefit in everything, but the evil can even food. Simple thing as food, there's benefit in eating food, but the evil of eating too much food, there's evil in eating too much food. So medication, morphine, there's a great benefit in taking morphine, except for the people dying and people with chronic illness, like cancer, painful in illness, car accidents, and that they need strong pain medicine to go to have a normal life, and they need it in the right proportion so that they can function. Because these medication, if you take it too much, it can cause similar to intoxication, where you can't function. But if you take it in the right amount, you can function. It's the same way with alcohol. There is no problem with a man coming from work, a tired day, take a glass of wine and drink it. And a Muslim will say, oh, there's a problem. No. Why is it that your God allow it in the first place? Oh, he was gradually trying to reduce it. Oh, come on. Then all of a sudden, when these things start happening, he said, stop it. It's not a gradual reduce. Because people were still drinking. But, as I say, in a society, alcohol can cause problem in a society. Anything can cause problem in a society. It's not only alcohol that can cause problem in societies. There's many things that can cause problem in society. You know, but even the things that you are given legal. In Michigan, there's a outbreak of Muslim addicted to cocaine in Michigan. You know, so, you know, things are in your society, and you know, you can get into it. And I'm sure those same ones addicted to cocaine is drinking alcohol too. Because what? Why would you prefer to take crack cocaine than drink a glass of wine? Why would you prefer to take crack cocaine over a glass of wine? You know? So at the end of the day, man, it's all I'm saying is this. Ibn Farooq is trying to sell Islam as if, oh, Islam have the answer to today's problem. It does. It doesn't have the answer to today's problem. Because what would happen in a Muslim society to a man who drinks? He would be beaten. He would be beaten. If you drink in a Muslim society, you'll be beaten. And in our society, we see that as a disease. We see that as a disease. Drinking is seen as a disease. It's treatable. It can be treated. But what would they do with you in a Muslim society? They would beat your butt. Because that's what Muhammad prescribed for drinking. So we look at it, what Muhammad prescribed for drinking. He prescribed that people should be beat. He prescribed that people should be beaten, and you know, as I say, you look at even from Ibn Kathir, you know, they try to indicate that it was a gradual reduction in alcohol, but you know, but when you say gradual reduction in alcohol or a gradual prohibition in alcohol, if a person is an alcoholic, was Muhammad taking the person and having the person in rehab? No. So there was no gradual reduction in alcohol. You know, it's they give a verse right here and they give a verse there. But there, you know, if you telling somebody that if you drink alcohol, in them it's a great sin in drinking alcohol. You even say alcohol is what he says, the work of the devil. Say alcohol is the work of the devil or something like that. I think you know, alcohol is the work of the devil. You know, but at the same time, yeah, it says Satan and the work. Yeah. So that is Surah 5 verse 90. is telling you that it's abomination of Satan's handiwork. So strong drink is abomination of Satan and handiwork. Avoid strictly that abomination. So at the time when they were telling Muslims that you could drink, but don't go to prayer when you're drunk, wasn't it Satan handiwork at that time? Do you see? So it was an abrupt stop, because he tell you to avoid it. One time he tell you could drink, and then the next time it tell you abruptly. It was not a moderate, a gradual reduction. No, because the first time he tell you like, oh, don't pray when you're drunk. 443, don't pray when you're drunk. And then 590 and to 91, 590 tell you it's Satan handiwork. So avoid it. That's abrupt stopping. That's an abrupt stop, because you're telling the people to don't pray when you're drunk, and then you tell them it is Satan work. And you should stop it immediately. And to the point where it becomes to the point where you can get your butt whooped for drinking. How is that abrupt? There is nothing abrupt about that. Nothing abrupt about it. So something was Satan handiwork, and you didn't tell them to stop it. You tell them like, oh, just don't, when you're drunk, don't pray. And how do you control a drunk man and his prayer? And that's why you see that there's no wisdom in this God of Islam. Because how can you control, he says, oh, if you're drunk, don't pray. A drunkard, how can a drunkard control his drinking to the point where he's not going to be praying without being drunk? You cannot, because alcohol is drinking alcohol in the excess, and you could see that the Muslims were drinking alcohol in the excess. So how can you control yourself when you're addicted to alcohol to the point where you're going to say somebody's like, don't approach your prayer when you're drunk? You should be telling people not to be drunk at all. But you're telling them, don't approach your prayer when you're drunk. Then later you tell them that alcohol is Satan handiwork. So why were you telling people to do Satan's handiwork? And then you said that it is the benefits. There's in it is benefit and there is good, and there is benefit and there is evil, and the evil outweigh the benefits. So what were the good in alcohol? Because alcohol can do a lot of things, Alcohol can do a lot of things, and alcohol can cause a lot of problems, but it also can calm a lot of problems. It depends on the person, and it depends on how much that person drink. As I say, a man come home from work, a stressful day. I say a doctor working in surgery, or a doctor working in a hospital at this time when there's coronavirus everywhere, or a nurse, and you come home and you grab a glass and you pour a little wine in it, and you take that drink and you relax yourself. How is that a sin? What did you do? What sin did you commit? But we see that these Muslims were drinking to the point where they were affecting Muhammad's con. They were affecting his game. The game he was playing, they were affecting it. Even his uncle said, "You are nothing but a slave of my forefathers." So here you're talking to the big Allah apostle, the one who is almost equal to Allah. Obey Allah and his apostle, or this Allah and his apostle, Allah and his apostle, all over the Quran, Allah and his apostle, Allah and his apostle. And then you are telling this apostle, Allah and apostle, that you are nothing but the slave of my forefather. While you're drunk, he's gonna get rid of your drinking. So let's listen to what Abdul is gonna say and then finish up.
It was just like something for you to know. I know he's talking about like selfishness. It's there for, God put this rule in place, you know, for our safety, you know, for our concerns. If alcohol was allowed, you see a lot of people not going to job. You see a lot of people, you know what I mean, messing up.
So if alcohol was allowed, you'd see a lot of people be doing this, a lot of people be doing that, a lot of people be doing this. So do you see what happened in this way? In a secular society with Islam as if Islam should be the governing, if Islam should govern a place like America, they would prohibit youth from drinking alcohol. They would try to stop you from drinking alcohol. They just start to stop homosexuality. They would try to stop all these things. And at the end of the day, what they're doing is suppressing people's life. You know, the wheat and the tear grow together until the day of harvest. That's the Messiah. You know, on the day of harvest, the Messiah will send forth his angel to weed from his kingdom all that cause harm and evil. You know, so the wheat and the tears grow together, and then the angel will weed from among the wheat, the tears, and cast them into the fire. And people live in this society and live amongst themselves, and you will not have because you will not have. You will have violence because there is violence everywhere, in Muslim, every society. But what you will have is you will not have uprising that you see in Muslim country. You see how these Muslim country for the past year go through these uprising where they overthrow their governments, and you see that in Libya they overthrow their government. What other country? You see that even it was brewing up in Syria, where they overthrow their government. You see so many movements where they want to overthrow their government. You see that rise because they are suppressing the people and their expression. And in the modern world, that's not the best way. And that's why the Messiah came and set the foundation for the modern world. He said, let the wheat and the tear grow together until the day of harvest. He send you and he tell you how to live in a society where, in a modern society, because God foreknew what a modern society would look like. And Islam is not for modern society. Islam is not for modern society. Do you see how gay people are equivalenting themselves to black oppression? You know, you see, a person who is gay, to me, is gay by choice. You know, that's how I feel. You're not black by choice, but they're equal. Gay people are equaling equaling being gay to being black, and oppressors being black in America. You know, under Islamic rule, what do you think would happen here? It would be chaos if you try to implement Islamic law in America. It would be chaos. It would be chaos all over the West. So that's why we know that is a chaos trying to stop people from drinking alcohol here when they already established drinking alcohol. And in Islam, they hide and drink alcohol. They hide and drink alcohol. That's what they do. They hide and drink, and the society knows they drink alcohol. You know, a law in Saudi Arabia know that there's a lot of Saudi Arabian, rich Saudi Arabian, who drink alcohol and party and have prostitute. You know, I've watched many videos of Muslims drinking alcohol and partying and with prostitutes. So it's just undercover. What they're doing is undercover, which is hypocrisy. As I say, the wheat and the tear grow together in the day of harvest because you can't control everything. You can control every movement of mankind. And that's why we know that Islam is not a religion for today. It was a religion for the past, where you could control people by killing them. You can control nobody by killing nobody. You know, this is not the time where you can control people by killing them or by threatening them and cutting off their hands and doing this and doing that. You can't do that. You know, the East is not the West. You know, and that's why he's selling this version of Islam, a peaceful version of Islam. But if you are living under Islamic rule, it's a different story.
That's the reason why it's banned.
Nice. All right. Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Could that not just be like a personal thing though?
Sure.
Do you hear what the lady asked? The lady said, shouldn't that be a personal thing? And guess what this guy said? Sure.
So
You should have your own self-control if that's like something that
excellent.
And do you notice what the wolf say? Excellent. But his Quran and his law, Islamic law, would tell you you can't do that. It's all about self-control, and that's why the Messiah came. The Messiah came and made the final law. The final law is the Messiah's law, and the Messiah came and give that law. And when the Messiah give that law, you will see how it applies to today's society. I'm sitting in my home. I don't drink alcohol. But I'm here in my home and I don't drink alcohol. But somebody else drinks alcohol. You know? So I'm in my home and I don't drink alcohol, but somebody else drink alcohol. You know? What you gonna do? Stop the person next door from drinking alcohol. You're gonna call them, oh, she's over there drunk, and then they come and that's her home. She can be drunk in her home if she wants to be drunk in her home. She can be drunk, you know. This is she owned the place. You know, so the lady is asking, shouldn't that be a choice of you to do when it comes to those kind of stuff? You know?
you should be able to like balance both.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Have you ever met a drunk?
No, not really.
Really? Never? And you go to state? Come on. Let's just be honest here, right?
So he said, have you ever met a drunk? So do you see how crazy this guy is? He says, and you're in the state or something like that. There's a lot of people who live in the state who have never meet a drunk. It's who you are exposed to. And what is a drunk? And when you call a drunk, what do you mean? Have you ever met a drunk? Do you see how deceptive this guy is? When you call a person a drunk, what do you mean? Do you drunk to the point where he call Muhammad's uncle that say Muhammad was a fraud? Indirectly say Muhammad was a fraud. Is that drunkenness, or you meet somebody who drinks, you know? And listen to what literally stupid explanation.
I'm just saying, all right. If you ever, I know you don't. You're study all night, right? I got you, right? Is your mom here? No, I'm just kidding. No. So I have met drunks in my life. I have met people who alcohol has ruined their life. And if you ever ask any of them, do you have a problem? Be like, no, I'm fine. Give me my keys, right? Nobody thinks they have a problem. right? If you look at a person who's hooked on heroin, or if you look at somebody who's a kleptomaniac, or somebody who robs banks, and you ask them, why don't you just control yourself, right? The problem gets to be, in society,
And do you see how foolish this guy is? If you say, oh, if you act a kleptomaniac, what is a kleptomaniac? Look it up. A person who cannot resist the temptation to steal. So you look at the word kleptomaniac. Kleptomania is the recurrent inability to resist urges to steal items. Inability to resist urges to. So, what is the solution for Islam? What is the solution? What is the solution in the West? When you have somebody who's a drunk and you have control over that person, rehab, because it's something that you cannot resist doing. What is the under Islam? What is the solution? Beat the person. You think he's lying? So you can beat the drunks. You know, in Islam, you can actually beat a person who is drunk. So that is this is you know. But then when you go to Jannah, you could drink all the alcohol you want. Okay, you have rivers of alcohol in Jannah. So you could actually beat a person who is drunk in Islam. You flog them. So you see, what is the solution that Islam offers? No solution.
We make laws to prevent ourselves from our own selves, right?
So we make laws to prevent ourselves from our own self. And why is this Muslim believe that it is better in the Islamic world than it is here in the United States? It's not. In the United States, people have freedom to do what they want to do. They have the freedom to do what they want to do, except violating the law. You have the freedom to do what you want to do, except violating the law. So you have the freedom to drink as much as you want. In Islam, you could beat your wife. You know, I know alcohol. A lot of people who drink alcohol have an alcohol problem, have domestic violence problem. In Islam, you could beat your wife without drinking. In the Quran, tell you could beat your wife. You know, and who knows? Maybe that was one of the problem that Muhammad tells people that they can beat their wife, and then when people are drunk, they have no control over beating their wife. You know, and so he realized that hey, something got to give. Because you know, alcohol is the biggest cause of spousal abuse. If you look it up, you know, let's take a look. Biggest cause, CAUSE, of domestic, DOMESTIC. What do you think gonna come up? Okay, here we go. 10 most common cause of domestic violence. And look at what I did. Mental problem, which alcohol is seen overuse of alcohol is seen as a mental problem, can be seen as a mental problem. So that's one. Poverty and unemployment, education, which is so important, young parents, relationship retention behavior. Yes, when a relationship is over, you still want to hold on to it. Historical factor, cultural factor, self-defense, alcoholism. So you see, alcoholism is among the 10 reasons for domestic violence. And you put alcohol in a man's, in the days of Muhammad, when he's telling them, don't approach prayer while drunk. So you tell them, no, you could drink, but don't pray while you drink, which is stupid. Because if you're a drunkard, then you cannot control how you drink. You know, if you notice, he mentioned kleptomania. A kleptomania is a person who cannot resist the temptation to drink, to steal. A drunk is a person who a drunkard is a person who cannot resist, or alcoholic is a person who cannot resist the temptation to drink. So here you are telling an alcoholic, don't approach prayer while you're drunk. So you see that the God didn't have no sense. The God of Islam never makes sense and will never make sense. And at the same time, the Quran is telling you in 4:34 that you can beat your wife. So you mix alcoholism and beating your wife and see what you have. And remember what Aisha says, she have never seen anyone suffer as much as the believing women. So there was so many reasons why Muhammad have to stop alcohol drinking. Because what? Islam was turning out to be a mess. He have to stop that stuff. Islam was turning out to be a mess because of the God. Because of the God. Not because of man, but because of the God. What the God was doing. Beat your wife and you could drink. At the same time, you can beat your wife. You know? Don't approach prayer while you're drunk. Is that telling you you're not supposed to be drunk? The Bible is telling you, don't be a drunkard. The Bible don't prohibit alcohol, drinking alcohol, but it prohibits you being a drunkard, because a person should have control over their body, should have self-control. You should have self-control. And notice the Quran prohibit intoxicant. Pain medicine is an intoxicant. Do Muslims take pain medicine? Do they take morphine, oxycodone, Vicodin, Dilaudid, and all this stuff? I know these names because I am a nurse. So, listen to the Bible. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9 to 11. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate. You know what that means? Same thing that he's talking about right there. Now, abusers of themselves and mankind, beating your wife and stuff like that, nor thieves, nor covetousness, nor drunkard, nor revilers, nor extortioner, which Muhammad was an extortioner. He was. Muhammad promising the men sex in Jannah in order to fight for him and capture people and rob people and do all kind of stuff. You're going to get all these women in Jannah if you rob for me. Shall inherit the kingdom of God. And such were some of you, but ye are washed. So some of these people, do you notice? Paul is telling them, such were you, drunkards were you, but you are washed and sanctified. But ye are justified in the name of Jesus and by the Spirit of our God. So you were once drunkard and you were once this. So he's telling you, stop. Because no drunkard will inherit. No drunkard will go. So stop. He says, such were some of you, but ye are washed. That means you are changed, you are clean. You cleanse yourself. Yes. He said, follow, the same Paul said, follow me as I follow Jesus. So drinking wine and is not the problem. It's being a drunkard is the problem. And Muhammad was telling the people, don't approach your prayer while you're drunk. He wasn't discouraging them from being drunk. So at the end of the day, what do you think gonna happen? Oh, the prophet said we can drink. So they started drinking like an idiot. So the God, the so-called God, destroyed the society. Then when he can control the society, you have to forbid the drinking, because it go to a point where his own uncle, Muhammad's own uncle, said to Muhammad, after Muhammad was rough with him, Muhammad was harsh with him, he went to Hamza and spoke harshly to Hamza. Hamza looked up and said, aren't you only the slave of my forefathers? This is Sahih Bukhari 2375. So you see, there gotta be a reason why he stopped alcohol drinking, because it was affecting him, affecting his con, affecting his game. So what I'm gonna say, man, is peace out, and don't convert to Islam. Islam is not the solution. People should be allowed to be free to do that which is legal in the United States of America. People should be free to do that. A man should be free to drink. I am against getting drunk, drinking and getting drunk to the point where you have no control or you don't know what you're dealing with. And that was what Muhammad was against, it seems, at one point. But he's saying he wasn't really against that. He was saying, don't pray when you're drunk. And his God, you could see, I would never tell a person, don't pray when you're drunk. I would tell them, don't get drunk. So even my wisdom is wiser than the God of Islam. The God of Islam went to a point where you have to tell them to stop drinking. So this was nothing about being gradual. This was about being stupid. The God was stupid, so the God told them, don't pray when you're drunk. But at the same time, the God is giving them verses. So if you look at the verse that said, don't pray when you are drunk. You look at the verse that said, don't pray when you are drunk. You look at the verse, where is it? That said, don't pray when you are drunk. It is like 4 something. Oh yeah, it's 4:43. But 4:34 is telling you can beat your wife. Do you see? So 4:43 is telling you that not to pray when you're drunk. And then 4:34 is telling you can beat your wife. So when you drunk, what control you have over beating? Do you see? Islam is a mess. That's the name of the channel. So I want to say peace out, my friends. I want to say all praises to the Most High God, the God of wisdom, the God above all gods. I just want to say, stay away from Islam, because Islam is a mess. So you need to stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam. So you see, all this thing here, man. You just gotta be wise in what you do. You can't listen to everything that these Muslims are saying, man. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is trying to compare themselves with a secular community, and to say that they're better than secular community. A religion should not be comparing itself to secular community, because secular, when you start comparing, you show that you there's something wrong with you. If you start comparing yourself with secular community, and that's what you see Islam do a lot, compare Islam with secular communities. So the Muslim as we are saying, man, we can see the craziness of the God in Islam, because in the first place, this God should have said to the people, don't get drunk, but he's telling them, don't approach your prayer while you're drunk. So what is that telling you as a person? That you can drink. And then in the same surah, he's telling you can beat your wife. And when I just read for you, what is the main cause of domestic violence? And you see it right here. What is the main cause of the domestic violence? And what is it? The main cause of domestic violence is what? Alcohol is included in the main cause of domestic violence. So you just could look and tell that the God of Islam is not a very wise God. He's telling you not to pray while you're drunk. Why not tell the person? Why not tell the person not to drink? And not to be drunk? That would be wiser, to tell the person not to be drunk. So, as I say, peace out, man, and God bless you all. We have been covering this for a while, and just want to show you some of the things that this guy was saying, but we see that he's hiding something. Anyway, I say peace out. Our praises to the triune God, the God above all gods. Thank you for your mercies in my life, and God bless everyone out here. Subscribe to the channel, and let's reveal Islam.